Good afternoon, sweet colleagues. It's Sunday afternoon. I was thinking about you all morning as I was walking, and I was thinking what a privilege it is to serve you this semester. And hopefully you will keep in touch with me as you move into your teaching, your student teaching, and your teaching. I am here for you. I will always be here for you. I want you to know, again, I know I keep saying this, but this is an unprecedented time, and an unprecedented time in your life as a soon-to-be teacher. All of these multiplicity of pandemics that are going on, COVID, the hate narratives, the political issues, and on and on and on, is really powerfully preparing you to be able to teach and reach the lives of children. When you enter the ground running in a year to a year and a half from now, all of this tsunami is going to be, this big residual tsunami from all of this is going to be still up and rising. I mean, a lot of the things may be ended or have dissipated, but the trauma from all of this, and there's just tremendous amount of trauma from all these pandemics. And it is hitting our families, it is hitting our children, it is hitting us as teachers, and it is hitting our communities. Who better than to be the ones that stand in the way of anything that would take our children down, especially in the context of their academic and social emotional learning, than you. This is preparation time. It is. And that's the one thing that I've gleaned from this. You know, I've been doing a lot of exercising now over the last 3 weeks, like a little bit of crazy exercising, like back-to-back 8-mile walks. Of course, I split them up most of the time because I can't do a full 8 miles. But I will tell you, I feel too that I'm being prepared for something. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Could be one person in my family. Could be my grandson, Kyle, that has Down syndrome. It could be the young lady down the street who I've been talking with, she and her mom. It could be that it's me. What am I supposed to be doing? I know that I'm supposed to learn something from this. And so are you. Yes, so are you. And through all this big time pain and struggle and all of the different issues that you as young people face, again, if you're struggling, you've got to get help. You've got to get help. Because those little babies, those little children, whether they're kindergartners or 6th or 7th or 8th graders or adult education evening classes, whatever it is that you'll be teaching. I actually taught adult education evening classes when I was first out. They need you. They need you to be on it. So saying that, I want to say it is such a privilege and a blessing to be able to share time with you this semester. And I got you. So this is, after all that big intro, this is the second set of tutorials for Module 4 in Curriculum 304. So here we go. So the last module that I sent you yesterday was deconstructing the format section. Now we're going to move, so make sure you're on Module 4. Now we're going to move, looks to be like page 2. Well, let's see, at the end of page 1, where it says, note, from this point on, use a full narrative format. Include everything that you will verbally say and specifically what the students will do. So from this point on, you are going to be scripting everything you're going to say and do to the students. Now, the reason I'm having you doing this is because as a previous student teaching supervisor for both Eastern Michigan and Wayne State University, it is easy to bullet point a lesson plan. It's another whole big kahuna sausage, right? These big kahuna sausages. Have you ever seen them? They're like really huge. They're awesome, right? With a little mustard on the bun and a little ketchup and a little onions, right? Wow. When you get in front of your student teaching supervisor and your cooperating teacher and you're teaching your first lesson, if you have stuff bullet pointed and you don't recall what the content is supposed to be, you need to have a plan. And here's the plan. You narrate your entire lesson. You set it on your desk as you're being observed, and you can refer to it. I'm just referring to it. About 60 to 70% of the students that I observed when I was student teaching, they forgot what they were going to say, and they had bullet pointed, and it was not effective. I certainly didn't mark them down for that, but I said, listen, the next time I come and see you, you need to have that lesson all narrated and thought out, everything you say and everything you're going to do. So, starting with step 1, called the anticipatory set activity. You will be quoting everything you're going to say. You could have like a long paragraph, and quotes would be here and quotes would be down there at the bottom of the paragraph. So in the context of the paragraph, there might be some things you're going to do, and then you'll put them in parentheses. For example, good morning, mighty herpetologist. That's in quotes. Well, the beginning of the quote, right? Because you're going to end quote it at the end of the paragraph. Good morning, mighty herpetologist. And then in parentheses, teacher comes dressed as herpetologist. I am so happy to be with you today. As you can see, we are in the woods. In parentheses, teacher has brought in items from the woods. Okay, so everything you're going to say is quoted, and then everything you're going to do, put in parentheses. So saying that, we are now entering in to step 1 of the directed lesson plan, the direct lesson plan. So I'm scrolling down to the next page. So then, after my format section, in the middle of my page, I put direct lesson number 1, just like page 2. On the left-hand side, you will see, just a minute, let me get my running juice. Doesn't it look like pond water? Doesn't it look like the most disgusting pond water? And on the bottom, I don't think I could show you. Yeah, there it is. Oh, that is the residual from the coffee. Doesn't it look like so disgusting? Take a look at it again. Okay, put that down. So on the left-hand side, under direct lesson number 1, you're going to have step 1, anticipatory set activity, as you see under module 4. Anticipatory set activity is step 1. Don't just put step 1. Put step 1, anticipatory set activity. Now, it says create and explain in detail everything you're going to say, everything you're going to do, a 2 to 5 minute activity that gets the children excited to make the decision to learn. So if my objective is that my students will list 3 characteristics of poisonous snakes in the herpetology journal, okay, that is step 2 coming up. But they're not doing the objective. Let me emphasize that again. They are not doing the objective. My nose is really stuffed up because I have my sunglasses on backwards. They are not doing the objective in the anticipatory set activity. That is critical. That is just as critical when I was talking about in tutorial number 1 yesterday regarding module 4, is that the verb, now listen, the verb from your standard, and you may have 2 verbs and 3 verbs, choose one. Choose one verb from your standard, will be the identical verb that will be in your part B of your objective. The other critical thing is that in the anticipatory set activity, you are designing and explaining to your students and engaging them in a set activity that is not doing the objective. It's just to get them excited. You know, sometimes you'll go to a concert, right? And they'll have a warm-up band. It's kind of like that, right? Kind of like a warm-up band. So this activity is a quick activity that totally engages the students in something related to the objective. But as you see, but they are not doing the objective. Did you hear that? They are not doing the objective. We're getting them ready to make the decision to learn. Okay, so reading on, it says, for example, if the objective is that the students will define the term combustion in their own words on a worksheet, perhaps the teacher can have the children create a human campfire. Some of the children could simulate being kindling. Some could create being big logs. Some could create being sparks. Beep, beep. Okay? Making very sure that the children are not touching each other. But a human campfire, wouldn't that just be so cool, right? And here you are, your little costume is a camping outfit. So the purpose of the anticipatory set activity is they're anticipating. They're getting excited, right? You're setting the agenda and then they get engaged. Check the rubric out. You're going to describe the costume reflective of the concept. When you're describing it, just put it in those parentheses. Every student must be actively engaged in large motor movements away from their desk. Ain't nobody got time for desks sometimes. Ain't nobody got time for paper sometimes. Ain't nobody got time for classroom sometimes. We need to engage students in the most authentic experiences we can. So wouldn't it just be so cool if we could actually do this out in the school, at the end of the schoolyard, and actually simulate something more authentic? Yes. Okay, 2 to 5 minutes. That's all it is. An anticipatory set activity is 2 to 5 minutes. Okay? Short, sweet. Now, when we get into project-based, we're talking about an exploratory activity at the beginning. That could be an hour, right? This is not that. It is a quick, let's get them in, let's get them excited, let's wear a costume. The teacher has a cool costume on, right? So the last one here is create a name for your students like clue finders, rangers, mighty explorers. I mean, I probably would call them dynamic herpetologists. Or I might call them awesome campers. I'm not going to call them students. I'm not going to call them children. I'm not going to call them class. I'm going to have a name for them, right? So I think I'm going to stop here. Just a quick tutorial for step 2. And I may have more than just 3 or 4 because I don't want to overburden you. So again, so far, in the first tutorial, I went over the format, the lesson title, okay? What goes on before the colon and after the colon. By the way, I just recalled this morning in my mind that I called that a semicolon. No, I was inaccurate. It is a colon. Boom, boom, right? A colon, not one of these. So in your lesson title, you will have a dynamic opening of your title and then the colon, and then you will be explaining following the tutorial from yesterday. So I will see you tomorrow on Zoom. I am going to be answering any questions prior to Module 4, talking about any Module 4 issues going on, hopefully getting to talk to Mr. Abel sometime today about what practicum is going to look like. We are going to start practicum the week of October 3rd. I am working on your placements. And if you have a placement, I did send you a letter to give to your teacher. We'll touch down tomorrow. Take care, colleagues. TTFN. Ta-ta for now.